Hello, everyone. That's Aman. Hello, Aman. How are you? 19, male, India. Says, hello, Meran. It's Monday morning over here. Yeah, I know. It's so early for you guys. I didn't think that there would be too many people from India or Pakistan or Iran at the moment because it's very early morning. Like at your neck of the wood, it's probably 6:30 in the morning. Is it? Yeah, it must be 6:30 in the morning around. And so this is basically for North America and Australia, pretty much. Nowhere else. India, Pakistan, Iran, Dubai, they're all still sleeping, or maybe sleeping. India, maybe they're just above. It's too early for them, and it's Monday morning. They all go to work, so nobody's going to be here from there other than maybe students who university or something is not all open as it used to be. So I was just expecting North America wide and Australia maybe. But, oh, 7:26 is it? 13 and a half hours? Oh, but still too early for you guys. So I don't expect many from India or Pakistan, but, well, you're welcome anyhow if you can wake up that early. Sweden, yeah, what are you doing up? 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't expect anybody from Europe. So 3 o'clock in the morning. Can't you sleep? All right. Oh well, I feel sleepy myself. I don't know why. I slept about 5 o'clock in the morning and till 11 o'clock. Ah, Stephen is here. That's the local timing. Basically, this live stream is set for North America and Australia. So, Aman from India, go back to sleep. Zedkil from Sweden, go back to sleep. But if you can't sleep, you're welcome, of course. Zedkil says, I think too much, so I don't sleep well anymore. Well, you think too much is not that you think too much, it's that you're not bringing the ripples of the mind, the activity of mind, to a lower activity because you don't meditate. If you meditate, it will help you. And Stephen says, hello, Meran. Stephen, male 40, Los Angeles, says, I'm hanging out with my dad and about to walk their huskies soon. Oh, they have huskies? Do they now? How many? You know, one of the loves of my life is the husky that my son has. And she's so cute and so uh, loving, this dog. And it's amazing. Like just, I miss her just not hanging around with her, but I don't see her too often unless I visit my son. So Mahmoud, male 18, the Netherlands. And what are you doing up so late, Mahmoud? Steven says they have two huskies. Oh, they're amazing dogs, man. They're amazing dogs. Like it's just like a family. Like the way they bond with you. It's like they recognize. They're happy when you're around them. They want to play. They know you're their pack. And so and we know that she's a member of our pack. So it's an amazing feeling. It's much easier to understand and live with animals than with humans. Why? Because everything is very honest with them, very straightforward. and there's no intrusion of thoughts in there to create all kind of nonsense, whether for people around or oneself. So, you know, animals have a more wholesome life. Stephen says, one we got from a no-kill shelter. Oh, okay. The other one they found and is a miniature husky. Oh, but she's older now. Oh, I see. And Stephen says, yeah, I remember you talking about Rain. Yeah, yeah, Rain. That's right. Aman says, I made a friend. She's 15 and have HOCD. She's from America. We talk in general and often discuss about HOCD. Is it good to have such friend who's also suffering? Why not? It's not like all it means it's an opportunity for you guys, for anybody who's dealing with OCD or HOCD or any subsets of OCD, to inform and educate, research, and find more about how this psyche works, so you become much freer in life by knowing the capabilities, efficiency, and deficiency and malfunctioning modes of the brain. Because unless you know that the brain it's an electronic mechanical system that it can malfunction, you will believe brain for whatever garbage that it throws out, and that ruins your life. But once you know that you are the boss of your brain and the brain is nothing but a tool, then you relax and understand that what shows up in your head and conjured up by the brain is meaningless. And it's irrelevant. It's no deity. It has no credibility. It is not a mandated. It's you don't have to that you have choice, and your choice overrides whatever nonsense the brain can conjure up or suggests. But most human beings don't know about their psyche, and they don't know enough about their brain and the malfunctioning features of the brain. And therefore, they get bamboozled and duped into believe whatever the shit the brain conjures up. That's the beginning of the problem. But once you know all that, which now you have the opportunity by having HOCD or subsets of an OCD, you have an opportunity to educate yourselves and learn about this apparatus and become free more than ever before. This is a learning opportunity. It's not supposed to destroy your life because you're more powerful and bigger than what is being suggested. It simply is trying to create havoc and activities and energy so it can find security in the occupation, which in the terms of the brain is making thoughts and getting you confused in order to have interaction and reactions to the thought that it manufactures. And that process of debating and hunting and confusion and whatever it creates, the resistance and confrontation between you and the brain finds security because it can only find security in occupation of it, not in physicality of safety and safe environment like you created for your body. So this is your opportunity to become a stronger and smarter person. That's what OCD and HOCD brings, an opportunity for you to educate yourself, become the master of your machine. And most people, if they don't have OCD or HOCD, they actually don't understand. That's why they go nuts, crazy, and they kill themselves sometimes, because they never thought that brain is an apparatus. They took the brain as themselves, as the leader to them, as a deity, as intelligence. So when the brain makes a mistake at one time in their life, they actually fall for it and believe it. And on that basis, they feel they have no recourse. They can't change anything because the brain is them. That's why people go, in many cases, they do crazy things. including committing suicide because they believe their brain. But they should believe themselves, not the brain, and command the brain and make choices about what brain manufactures. And they diss and ignore the ones that simply they disagree with and do not want to allow it to become any action. And you and only you have that power. Nobody else, not the brain. So you're way above the brain, and this OCD and HOCD will give you the opportunity to educate yourself and become more powerful than you could ever imagine. Like Obi-Wan said, if you strike me, I will be more powerful than you could ever imagine. Of course, the sound of Darth Vader coming from Obi-Wan, but let me see. Obi-Wan, if you strike me, I will become more powerful than you have ever imagined. I don't know. I can't get out of the Darth Vader's. If you strike me, I will be more powerful. So I think you get the gist of it. So let me see what we have here. Mr. DKB21 says, hi, Meran, USM May 25. Thank you for that. Why does social media make me feel like my life isn't as fun or as valuable as others? Social media is not making that. You're making that. You believe in the garbage of the social media. What is social media? There is no such thing as social media. They're the people in having pages in these programs that are creating a certain kind of a census or a rhythm. Look, you have choice in life. Doesn't matter what people out there utter or suggest or offer you, or it's your brain that suggests, imagines, or offers you a thought, an idea. You are the boss of it all. You have the choice to accept or refuse, accept or diss, find it useful or useless and meaningless, irrelevant. That's your power. So it doesn't matter what social media, don't pay attention to it. Pay attention to what you want. It's like a smorgasbord. You go and there's lots of kind of food from different countries. Maybe there are some, I don't know, rice and chicken. Maybe there's some rice and lizard. Maybe there's some snake. Maybe they're alive. Maybe they're dead. Maybe there are hamburgers. Maybe there are steaks. Maybe there are vegetarian food. Maybe they're just some nice, lovely thing from your own culture. You have a choice. Just because it's out there, it doesn't mean that you have any contract with it or mandate to choose it or accept it or enjoy it or try it or whatever. There's so many shit going on in the world, but you have the mechanism of choice. Don't choose it. Don't pay attention to it. Pay attention to what it is that you're all about and you are interested in, you want. That's how you deal with life, and that's how you deal with OCD and HOCD and every other shit that comes out from the brain, that most people think that brain has some kind of an intelligence. It's the most stupid part of your body. Why? Because it's not hardwired. It's dependent on thoughts. It goes oscillating. It's the very most unstable part of our body, because it can go haywire and you won't notice that it's an apparatus. You take it as a deity, as a god, as me. That's the problem. You're not the brain, and brain is not you. If you understand that, you'll have half of the problem solved. John Anesi is here. Says, hey, Meran, John, Syracuse 30. Hope all is well. My brother, hello, thank you very much, John. Appreciate the kind words and the love. And we all need more love around the world, and to give each other, support each other, and understand we're all in it together. So all the best to you. Hope you're all well as well and taking good care of yourself, and good of you to join us. Stephen says, I've been meditating daily, plus I do it mainly before sleep. It helps a lot. When I meditate, all of my worry or problems go away. I feel so relaxed and good inside. I also do it on my lunch break. Good. Very good. Excellent. Continue. Koli says harshly, I am missing every stream. I'm having paper. It's okay. Keep on doing what is necessary, what is most urgent, and these live streams will be around as long as I'm alive. So, and I don't intend to go anywhere for now. So, I hope to be around. Mahmoud says, man, I can't sleep good lately. We've been broken up 6 months ago and she's still on my mind. Why? Why is she on your mind? Because you're not seeing her actuality. You're seeing an image of her. The image that you think she would represent. In other words, what a relationship with her could be the paintbrush to draw the image you want to have of yourself in this life. And that's pure bullshit because you're giving the paintbrush in the hands of somebody else to draw the picture that you might or might not like. You should be the one who draws the picture that you wish to represent you, not other people, which means become independent of depending on other people's attention towards you in order to feel good about yourself. So go on and build your life and make your life, and don't start thinking about, oh, I dream of what. Why is she in your mind? If you see her for who she is right now, how she treats you, and what went on with you guys, the fact that you guys couldn't hit it off, or somehow things went differently or sideways, or you're not compatible anymore, or you never were, or you thought you were, or however it is, the way the things are between you and two, that's the reality. But you don't see that. Who she is, how she is, what she does, what she doesn't, how she interacts with you, or you have, however it was. You don't see that. You only see what things you like about her and the pleasures you want to remember, not the entirety of her. That's why you selectively pick a fragment of her that is pleasant to you, and naturally we gravitate toward pleasantry of a relationship or a memory, and you disregard everything else that describes her, which makes the whole picture complete. And therefore you say, oh, really, I love her, I want her. But why don't you focus on the fact that you are bigger than life? For you, you're the one who creates things. For you, and you're the one who can destroy it. For you. So why should you destroy your life? Like keep thinking about something that it's not working. It's like keep thinking about the bicycle that its tire is blown, the brakes don't work, and you keep saying, but at one time it was great bicycle. I traveled so many places with it. It was such a good, yeah, okay, at one time it was. But what does it have to do with how it is now? Because you want to go for the pleasure of the memory, find the pleasurable stuff in the memory to make you feel good, rather than facing up the fact that this bicycle is no longer gonna serve you well, and you need to either fix the tire or go and change and buy a new bicycle. Simple. All right. And last month I was getting over it, going to the gym, studying, but since last week I got even harder than the first one. Yeah, because the activities reduced again since last week, probably. I don't know, more lockdown or whatnot, different parts of the world. And when the activities are slowed down and changed, your routine changed, and the mechanical processes, which are the activities that you do during the day, stopped or changed or diminished, which means things that the brain was occupied with, the stuff that you were doing, gym and everything else, reduced. When it reduces, then it doesn't find occupation to be busy with and to be focused on. And therefore, what is it going to be focused on now? On the stuff in the memory. What can create more thoughts and activity in the memory? The negative stuff. So it goes on there, finds things that is been not really fun, and then comes up with intrusive thoughts, and you probably get thoughts of she's with somebody else, she's having sex with somebody else, or why this happened, or all these kind of things, which is how the brain gets you involved and creates occupation. Regardless of the topic, it does whatever it can do to get a rise out of you and get a reaction, to create a process going, debate, resistance, conflicts, and interactions, and proving that no, this and that, so forth. No, she's not doing this, or she's doing this. That's mostly in the case of intrusive thoughts. And then through that interaction, the occupation, it finds that it's busy, because it wants to be busy. The brain wants to be busy all the time. And nowadays that it's not busy, it's going to go find negative stuff in your brain or negative topics in life, creates OCD of all kinds, and then it hits you with all the things that could create conflicts and discrepancies and anger and dissatisfaction and debates, and that's what it does in order to keep occupied, because there's not much occupation. That's why many of you during the pandemic got HOCD. Most of you, many of you, if not all of you, so many more people. And John Anessis says, Mehran, what do you think the... Just give me one moment, guys. Check this. Let me shut this down. So John says, what do you think the best solution for breaking OCD rituals? Just not do them even though it creates brain discomfort? Absolutely. You know, for instance, if I don't do something certain number of times, I think something bad will happen. Yeah. How do I stop that? It sounds so stupid. Yeah, it does. But I'm gonna, it's like, no matter what I say, if you don't do it, you won't see the result. You don't see what I'm talking about. So you got to be committed to do that. Like when you have a obsession, that, let's say you got to wash your hands so many times, then the compulsion would be to wash your hands. And if you don't, you'll have anxiety. Now, you deal with the anxiety with anxiety in this case. In other words, you destroy the anxiety that gives you from not doing the compulsion with more anxiety. The anxiety is going to dissolve that anxiety. How do I mean? You think you touch something that is dirty, which in fact we all know we are a bit crazy and it's not dirty. We just think it is. Now we don't go why, we just do that. Human brain is got craziness, and it's in every human being. We end up having OCD one way or another if we haven't already experienced it. And everybody in the world does have intrusive thoughts, and then it lingers and so on. We've talked about that before. But in this particular case, so you have an obsession to wash your hands because you think you touched something that was dirty, which is not, but you think it is. You believed it with no evidence. You just believed it. That's how fucked up we are. But nevertheless, then now you got to do the compulsion. And you can't wait till you get to some washroom somewhere, some faucet somewhere, get soap and wash your hands. Why? That's the compulsion. Yeah? And if you don't do it, you kind of hold your hand somewhere, do whatever trick you think just to fool yourself that, oh yeah, I got it, I should watch it until. So through that, until you get that compulsion done, washing your hand done, and it's not going to be one time, 2 or 3 times you want to wash it, if not more. That compulsion, until you do it, you have an anxiety. I got to do this, I got to do this. And if I don't do it, oh, something bad will happen. Or if it's touching something, 5 times. This light switch, you got to turn it off and on 5 times, or 3 times, or 10 times, or maybe one more time. It didn't feel right. I got to do it again. These are glitches. There is no evidence. If that was the case, then when they want to send a rocket to the moon, and somebody happens to think, oh, maybe I should do it 10 times with this particular switch. You do that 10 times, the thing might blow up. So then scientific things, they won't go for the OCD bullshit because they know it can have dangerous ramifications. They just don't believe that there's any extraterrestrial or any deity or any force out there that if you don't do this, some wrong will go with the engine of the rocket. They don't think that way because it's all about calculations, and if you put that emotion and glitches out, the computer doesn't have an OCD. And computer is like brain. It does calculations and process of figuring it out, figuring things out. And in that process, there's no place for OCD, for doing it a few times. And if I don't do it, if I don't round up this calculation that is very precise and very necessary, or if I don't turn the 5 to 6, then something bad will happen. They don't think that way. The computer doesn't think that way. It says it has to be 5. You turn it into 6 because you think, oh, it's an OCD, I got to turn it to 6. Or I got to touch this button one more time. Well, you do one more time, there's more fuel going to go in there. It's going to be sparking and just blowing everything up. You don't do OCD shit. Computer doesn't do that because it's aware of the consequences. It's programmed in order to be precise and perfect, not to do anything other than what's necessary. And none of the OCD stuff that we did or we do or some people still do are necessary at all. It's just a mental glitch. But let's say somehow you understand all that, but you still do it. So the compulsion, until you do it, it gives you anxiety. Now, what you need to do is to say, look, I'm bigger than OCD. I'm bigger than the anxiety. I know I'm not going to die if I don't touch this thing the 5th time. I have the compulsion to touch it and turn the light on and off one more time. And if I don't, things are not really glitched on. But you got to say, I understand what my brain wants me to do, but I make the choice and I make the decision because the brain is stupid, is malfunctioning. And with the same malfunctioning brain is trying to convince me that it's necessary that I should touch it one more time. But I know it's malfunctioning. The malfunctioning brain is reasoning this. So I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to rise above it and say, I'm not going to touch that switch. I'm not going to wash my hand one more time. And that's going to itself, because you made that decision, it now knows that the compulsion is not coming. The drug is not coming. So I'm not going to get the dopamine secreted. I'm not going to feel good because I've complied with the obsession, with the compulsion that is needed after obsession shows up. And knowing that gives you more anxiety. So you were anxious until you do the compulsion. Now you've decided not to do the compulsion. There'll be more anxiety. So the anxiety goes up. Anxiety level goes up and you hang around. And so something bad is going to happen. I got to make sure, because OCD is making sure disease, doubting disease. So you doubt anything. I got to touch the wood, this wall a few times because it's sunny. I want to go play soccer. And if I don't do it, maybe it's going to be rainy. None of that shit happens. All you have to do is just don't do it and see if it's going to turn out rainy or not. Just don't touch it and see if something bad will happen or not. Because if that is correct, if something bad does happen if you don't do the compulsion, then the reverse of it should be correct as well. Which means if something good you want to happen, by touching something several times, the good thing should happen. Like let's say you want to have $1 million in the bank. So how many times should we touch the wall in order to get that happening? Because If if I don't do it, something bad will happen. That's what you think, right? Which means maybe the bank will freeze my account. Isn't that something bad about your banking? Or what about health? Or if I don't do that, maybe something happened to my father or to someone that you love. Hmm? So if that's the case, that it has such a power, that touching the wall has such a magical power that can actually harm something that otherwise it would be healthy, and by me touching that wall one more time, it actually magically protects my parents, then if they have a cold or they have some kind of illness, if I use the same power, they should also be cured. But they don't, do they? Because I did what I should do to stop the bad thing happening. So if I do it more, maybe the good thing will happen if I change my intention. But you know that none of that actually happens. So the best thing is, if you think something is bad is going to happen, just take your head out of your ass, be more detail oriented that day, more careful about what you're doing, and you will see nothing happen that day. Nothing whatsoever. And you didn't touch that extra touch. So you can slowly prove to yourself that this touching business is nonsense. And logically, you will begin to understand, okay, if it's not happening, what am I doing it for then? Then there's a glitch in the brain. And I'm going to remedy that. By how? By reconditioning myself to the fact that I don't need to do the compulsion. How? Well, if I'm supposed to touch this 5 times, today I'm going to touch it 4 times. I'm going to see if something bad will happen. Nothing. Tomorrow I'll touch it 3 times. Nothing. Then I touch it 2 times. Then after a while, I just touch it once and say that's enough, because nothing bad can be connected to this, me touching this or not. So when you wait a while and compulsion goes up and you still don't do it and you still don't do it and time passes and then your mind gets busy with the other things you actually forget. Then you start thinking, oh, has it not happened to you that sometimes you actually sit down and say, I don't think I touched that wall that I was supposed to touch in order to work against something bad happening. I know I didn't touch it, but nothing bad happened either. So what should I do now? Go touch it? Like you don't remember it. When you don't remember that you touched it or not, when you don't remember that you should be touching it so nothing bad happens, when that memory, that time that you're worried about this, that you should do it, passes and you get busy with other things, you no longer are worried about something bad happened. Why? Because you're not even remembering that you should have. You should have performed that compulsion. So it's only important as long as you remember you're thinking about that I should do the compulsion. Once you no longer remember about that mode of fear and anxiety that passes that time span, you no longer think it's necessary for you to do it. So if you can train yourself that when you think you got to do the compulsion, just wait until a little bit more time passes, another minute or 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, you may actually forget about the fact that you want it and you thought it's important, necessary for you to touch that wall 5 more times. And when you begin to, it'll become apparent to you that none of that is really related to something good or bad happen. That will help you to logically fix your brain. And then on top of it, when you haven't done the compulsion for a while, and then you say, okay, a few minutes passed and my anxiety level gone up, but I didn't die. I'm going to have my tea. I'm going to do my other things. And time passes and I no longer feel I should be doing it. Tomorrow, when you feel like you got to touch that thing and the compulsion shows up, you remember that yesterday I actually resisted the compulsion for 5 minutes. I can do it. Let's see if I can do 10 minutes today. And then within these times that you're giving it the resting period, waiting period, you forget about doing it. And after a while, it becomes reconditioning that you actually don't think you really have to do this because in a few moments you won't think it's necessary. Only that particular moment, at the height of it, you think you should do it. If you pass that moment that you think you really have to do it and you resist it, you will not think that you have to do it. So you work on this and you condition yourself. Later compulsion, anxiety is high, but I still don't do it. And it takes longer for me to do compulsion, longer I wait, and I do the compulsion. And then eventually, I don't think I need to do the compulsion because enough time has passed. I don't even remember why I wanted to do what I wanted to do. That's how you rewire yourself, recondition yourself for these not doing the compulsions. That is somehow you can approach it for these sort of things. Ollie Dan says, good evening. Good evening. Ollie, what about some info? Age, gender, where are you tuning in from? Stephen says, the past, look, these OCD thing, there's a lot for me to talk to you about it, but it can't be done in a public forum. You guys want to go on my channel, on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, make an appointment on Skype, one-on-one conversation with me, make an appointment for 1 hour, and I will throw in another hour on me. We'll have 2 hours, and we can start talking about your OCD or HOCD challenges, and I can share with you the information, the research that I have, and we'll discuss it. Or if it's for breakup or whatnot, we can discuss it one-on-one on Skype and explore together what's concerning you. And Stephen says, these past couple of days, I have been focusing on what I can do to improve my life. I've made the change. I know the interest is there from the girl I'm dating, but I want it to be how it was in the beginning, where she was pursuing me more. All right, then stay cool and collected like a cucumber, and she will see the value in you rather than you trying to force it onto her. Remember, it's like you actually actively seek a store to buy flowers because you're looking for a specific flower versus some store while you're passing by says, hey, flower, we got a special flower, come and look at flower. Why don't you buy this flower? Say, why don't you kind of say, well, it's too available and it's too much offering, pushing. I don't want it. Because you didn't do anything to get that value. So to you, it seems not so valuable. It's too readily available. You want to do something for what you get. Your efforts towards achieving something gives the value that you think that something may have. It's like your dad gives you a car and you say, well, it's nice, very nice, but you don't feel that car is as valuable to you as if you had gone and worked for it and you yourself went to the dealership and actually bought that car with your own money. Whatever debt you got to go on, but it's you did that because you had to work on it. Prepare for it, save on for it. Same thing. Your date hasn't asked for it, your girlfriend hasn't asked for it, you keep available there and wanting to hear her affirmation of you and attention towards you, and therefore you give so much attention and energy towards her. She says, I haven't done anything, and this energy and these attentions pouring towards me. So that could mean it's not valuable. But if she actually asked for it, or she made an effort to get your attention, she would value that attention. Because basically it's her achievement. But your attention to her, it's not her achievement, it's your achievement. It's your offering. It doesn't worth anything to her. Unfortunate, but that's how it is. It's human psyche. Muja. says, what about multiple personality disorder? Muja, what about gender, age, and where you're tuning in from? Sounds fair? All right, I'll get back to you once we have that. Sam Sadariani, that's a Persian name. Says Eshrama Mehran. Sam. He says, you helped me a lot. Well, glad to hear that. Sam says, is false attraction linked to HOCD? Explain more. Yes, of course. I mean, HOCD, you think everybody... You see, the thing is, you have that attraction. We all have attraction to other people because we're designed to notice their good looks, their being well-groomed, because we like things that are designed well, because we ourselves may be good-looking and we enjoy and appreciate the beauty of the nature, beautiful dog, beautiful horse, beautiful tree, plant, sceneries, calm ocean, all these things that brings a favorable energy with what's existing and what's not, what's existing and what us, and our energy. And we are designed to feel that. That's normal. But what happens when you have an HOCD, all these normal feelings that you're supposed to have, all these normal attentions that you can give to things that are well designed and look good and they're clean and well presented, and someone who's put nice clothes on and looks chic and looks disciplined, or if it's a lady who is well dressed and well, or if it's a man well groomed and is good looking, these are all what we are designed to notice. And it's a favorable that we prefer to be friend with someone who's well groomed and clean and maybe good looking than someone who has got a negative connotation on facial impressions and postures, and disposition is negative, or the energy is negative, or not well groomed, it's not clean. So it's natural to try to stay away from that and be gravitating to or becoming friend with this person, because we as human beings, we men and women, we want to bond with other men, because that's the friendship. That's how our species are, for protection, for security, for being part of the group, to sense of belonging, to have friends, to communicate, interact, and make things together, pal around and do projects. And that's how we were like wolves. We were in packs and we find friends. We are interested. That's why in our childhood, we're supposed to have friends. But unfortunately, they're assholes in the schools and they don't accept everybody in the same way, and they're being improper, they're being rude or bullying, and they interrupt that bonding, natural bonding between males that is supposed to happen as friends. So when we grow up, we kind of have that deficiency of being friendly, having friends, because we couldn't have that in our childhood as much as it was necessary and normal to have. It's schools because of the bullies and the called you names and all that shit. So now that you're older, you still have that need to bond with other friends, other males. That's the nature of a human being. But now, because there's so many discussions and connotations of sexual orientations, different lifestyles, and all these information seeps through our consciousness, when we have a natural appreciation of someone's good look or want to be friend with them, a good energy exchanging, we associate that with homosexuality, because there's a concept of homosexuality is being constantly talked about in different venues, and that information that this is a fact of life, the homosexuality exists, some people are homosexual, they're born homosexual, and these topics are spoken about so much that it has become part of our association of things with it. And then what is normal suddenly would have a connotation of, but it shouldn't have, and it doesn't have. And if you have HOCD, it attributes all that natural attentions to intrusive thoughts. So that's why these attractions are normal. Everybody has it. But when you give a label to it, give a conclusion to it based on all the information that is constantly being pumped out, which is unnecessary, the amount of it. Everybody is aware what is happening in our world, and there is a certain percentage of the people in this world are different than the other certain percentage. Some are women, some are men, some are heterosexual, some are homosexual. This is the makeup of our species. Yet, when you have an HOCD, all these normal and natural reactions and interactions take a connotation, to take a conclusion, a label. So it takes away what it is to something that is not. You notice someone's good look, you notice someone's good look. You feel good about being friends with that person, perfectly normal. You're a male, he's a male, no problem. We're kids, we're friends, we're, people living. But yet, because it has a conclusion and association to a meaning, a word, homosexuality, then that conclusion comes and takes over this natural and normal interaction or attention or recognition of the good look of someone, interferes with what is natural and turns it into some connotation and some conclusion. That's the problem. And when you have HOCD, that happens all the time. Which you should learn about it and not pay attention to connotations and dealing with conclusions and words and the meanings of the words and associations of the attention and words and emotions. Just pay no attention to it. Just say, fuck it, I don't care. I'm a human being and someone's good looking. I'm glad that he's good looking because I'm good looking and I like good looking people. And that doesn't mean I'm homosexual. It just means I like good looking people because we like good looking handbag, good looking horse, good looking dog. What happens when we like a good looking horse? We're not going to say, oh, I'm a homosexual now. Or dog, oh, I have inclinations toward dog. No, but suddenly you appreciate some good looks of another man. So, oh, that means something. No, it doesn't mean anything. It means the same as something else being good looking. I don't know, maybe an elephant, horse, dog, cat, whatever. It's the conclusion that the society is constantly trying to interfere with the normal interpretation of things that causes these sort of thoughts to take roots and become a little bit of a challenge to separate them and to dissect them. Anyhow, I hope that was helpful to you. Steven says, nice coat, Mara. Well, thank you. It's not a coat, actually. It's just the... My son bought this for me. That's why it's so special. Riley says, male 27 Canada. Hello, Riley. Anna. So, Sam, I hope that was helpful to you. Anna says, hi, Meran. I am 32, female, Boston. Oh, Boston. Why do I like Boston? Because Boston cream at Tim Hortons was one of my favorite pastries. Every time we went to martial art classes with my son, and he was a little boy, when we came on our way home, we would always stop at Tim Hortons and get a Boston cream, or at least a bunch of them, take home, have it with milk. So Boston has a very sweet connotation for me. So let's see what Anna says. Anna says, I'm 32, female, Boston. And then she repeats that, says, I'm 32. Yes, Anna, I got that. And and I am meeting my first boyfriend. Really? Your first boyfriend? You're 32. Where have you been raised? In a convent? He's 32 too. And he has had many girlfriends, unlike me. I'm having a really hard time with retroactive jealousy. Oh, come on, come on, come on now. Don't. Listen, right now you're a goddess to him. Why? Because none of those that he used to have a relationship with are in the picture with him. He's with you. He wishes to please you. He wishes to be affirmed by you. He wishes to get your approval. He's there for you. Why is he not with others? Because you are the best choice. Because he's grown up. What he chose when he chose was much younger. So his version of much younger did not have the intelligence or the sophistication as he has today, because we all grow and advance. And through his growth, having had the chance to be with those other girls and personalities, have realized what he does or does not like. And he has grown and understood that his specifications and standards should be higher because those didn't work for him. And with that growth and understanding of what his standards and expectations are, he has come to you. So you're the best version of anything that he had ever had in the past. It's like you're the T3000 model. Do you remember the movie I'll Be Back? Model 3000 was a woman, no? That's the higher and newer model, more advanced than any other one. It's a different time and space. So you couldn't have been anything that could be compared to the others because they were all inferior models to you. And his version today is never the same version that you're worried about that was interacting with those girls in the past, because he wasn't who he is today in the past. Some different version of him with less understanding or expectation, whatever it was having a relationship with those girls. Today he's different, and what he is today, those girls never had an experience to interact with. This is a new version of him, advanced and to the level that is being qualified to attract your attention, and you being higher in standards and qualifications than those other girls. That's why he's new, is attracted to you, because you're also advanced much further than those girls ever was, because he wasn't advanced enough as he is today to even understand what comparison is there. And you weren't around to compare. If you were maybe at the same time there, definitely would be probably choosing you, because that's the evolution of his choices to this. He's not going to go back. So what comparison are you doing? He's already done the comparison and chosen the fact that this is a more advanced version, you. And he's hoping to be able to win your support and your affirmation. So stop being jealous for something that doesn't exist. It's like saying, I'm having this food and I'm hungry and it's very delicious, this lasagna. It's amazing, but yet I'm wondering, the food that I had 2 months ago, a lasagna, if this is better than that or that was better. Who cares? That doesn't even exist. That's the only one that is here, and it's most delicious, and I'm really happy with it. So why are we conditioned to constantly compare things? We can't even believe our own taste and preference. What is in front of us, what I'm experiencing. I have to compare with some fucking thing in the past in order to convince myself that this is the best. I can't decide that this is the best. I have to find a comparison to say that this is the best. That means you don't believe in yourself. Not that there's anything wrong with you. You are, in fact, as we talked about it, higher in standards, qualifications, and qualities of anything he had ever had in the past. But you don't seem to believe it. Why? You're the only reality in his life. All those things don't even exist. I don't care what they were. I don't care even if he had the chance to be with, I don't know, in the past, be with Sharon Stone, for heaven's sake. We can't be sexier than that. I mean, no one can. When she was that sexy. So, but the fact is, I don't care if she was with Sharon Stone, but that doesn't exist anymore. What doesn't exist, I don't care how good it was. It's useless and meaningless. Non-existence of something amazing is never comparable to something that is in existence and is amazing. So, you figure it out. And listen, British say, never let them see you bleeding. As soon as people see you bleeding, you're hurt, you feel vulnerable, they're gonna try to hurt you. So even if you ever walk in the street with him and see some top-notch, gorgeous, you know, just amazing woman passing by, don't lose a beat at all. Just turn around and say, wow, that was a nice, beautiful woman, and walk forward with full confidence, which means you appreciate and recognize the beauty of that woman, but yet you don't feel she's good enough. Why? Who cares? That's your attitude. Not to be arrogant about it, just say, hey, did you see that girl? She looked gorgeous, didn't she? That's the end of it. Your confidence will overshadow whatever sexuality, beautiful beauty that woman may have had. May have had. That's a new sentence. Grammatically, possibly correct. So, all right. And look, Anna, with all what I said, which is you got to watch this again and understand what I just said, I'm going to give you one more cue. Never forget this. I went to university in Portland, Oregon, and Lewis and Clark was the name of the college. It's, of course, a very highly accredited university, but everything's called college there, even though they're full 4-year and 6-year masters, gives masters and all that. So, and that was close to Reed College. I think that's where Steve Jobs went to school, at least while he was there. And that was our sister university, or sister college. Anyhow, that's a background. One day we were told that the world champion in billiards, pool playing, they've arranged for a demonstration by this world champion. His name was Jack White. He was a big, fat, chubby man. And we all gathered in the hall where the pool table was, and all intrigued and excited to see how this demonstration will go. So Jack White comes with his little container, a wooden container, which is, the cue is billiard. The pool cue was in there, the stick. So he gets ready and all that, and he says, who wants to play? And we had this guy that always was, a noodle in every soup. And so I said, oh, me, I play. So, okay. So he goes in there, and he starts saying, and he said, have you played? He says, oh, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. So Jack White said, when it was Jack White's turn, the guy did something, and it was Jack White's turn. Or did he start? I don't know. And while he was playing, he said something I never forget. He said, I don't care how good you are. Jack White's turn, and he's hitting the shots. And while he's hitting the shots, He said, I don't care how good you are, not to him necessarily, to anybody. He says, I don't care how good you are. I've got the cue. Do you understand what it means? I don't care how great of a pool player you are. I don't care what master you have. I don't care how many championships you've won. I don't care any of that because I've got the cue. Meaning it's my turn. I don't care how good you are. It's not your turn. You can't even try it. So it doesn't matter how good you are as long as it's my turn. Do you understand that? Which means all your anxieties and jealousy and all that is for nothing. Baseless. Why? Because it doesn't matter how good they were or how bad they were or how expert they were in doing whatever. I don't care what relationship we had. They don't exist. It's your turn. You got the cue. You're the one actuality. You're the one in present. And you own the field. It's your turn. Right on that. Anna, the rest of it is just your own brain, which you shouldn't give into bullshit. You are the boss right now. So, be yourself. Don't worry about anything else. And Riley says, trying to get over my ex. I think I'm getting there. She might be seeing someone else. Yeah, what do you care? Which makes me a little upset. Really? Is she the only woman on earth? Tell me, if Sharon Stone, I bring Sharon Stone, I guess I've got the hots for her. I mean, I always did in the past. She's so gorgeous. I mean, for long times, in my youth, Raquel Welch was the goddess of sex and was really famous in the world. I mean, my time, yeah? But then just, what was it? 10 years ago, what is it? Sharon Stone, right? So, using her as an example, say, if Sharon Stone comes along, gives you a call, says, hey, Riley, what are you doing? I would like to have some tea with you and have a conversation. Would you still be thinking about this girl, your ex, or would you be fully focused on with Sharon Stone and while you're trying to drink tea and it's just slipping all over your face, huh? Which one's going to be? So don't tell me that, makes you upset if your ex-girlfriend is having sex with somebody else or going out. So who cares? There's so many other beautiful women out here. You're going to dedicate your life to a woman who's not with you. I mean, how insane is that? I can understand how you dedicate your life for a woman who is with you. And that's fine. That's how it should be. But dedicating your life to a woman who's not with you, doesn't want to be with you, are you nuts? Or you don't have any value for yourself. So, chew on that for a bit. I'm sure you'll understand the message. Aman says, how do I get the passion back for the way you used to feel with girls before HOCD? Focus on what you are, who you are, what you like to be, what you always like to be, what you prefer, what you want to be. That's all it matters. Your choice, not what the brain tries to suggest to you. You are the one who chooses or allows and makes possible for any thought or suggestion to become or not ever become in the vicinity of becoming any action or actuality. You have the power. So it doesn't matter what suggestion. So you focus on that. What you are, what you want to be, what you prefer to be, what you love to be. Love girls, You love women, and that's how you've lived, that's how you like it to be, that's your preferences, then stay on that, ignore these other stuff, and keep on going through life, doing what you need to do, and accomplish what you need to accomplish. And in time, this behavior of yours and attitude of yours and the power of choices that you have, and clearly you know what you want and you focus on that and live your life, will rewire your brain through neuroplasticity, and this will eventually show you that you've got it all handled perfectly and everything comes back the way that you've always hoped it would. It's just a hoax. It's like HOCD is like something that every single one of you have experienced it. Intrusive thoughts, everybody has it in the world, everybody. But sometimes you've noticed it, sometimes you haven't. But this other thing that I'm going to mention to you, I'm sure every one of you, if not most all of you, if not all of you, have experienced it. Have you not experienced when a tune is looping in your head, in your ear? You know, a tune. Like, I don't know, Gilligan's Island, da 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 da, something like that. I don't know if the tune is correct or not. Some tune that has been in your head at one time or another in your life, childhood or adulthood, doesn't matter. It's been in your head for hours, if not days. You couldn't get rid of it. You would sleep and get up in the morning, and then you still, during the day, it will hit you again. Something like that. Again, don't hold me to the note. What do you think that is? Earworm, right? SSS. I think it stands for sound something syndrome. I don't know what it was. Let me see if I can look it up in my notes. Yeah, stuck song syndrome. I think that's what it is. Stuck song syndrome. So, on that note, you probably have already answered me in your own mind that yes, you have experienced that. What do you think that is? There is no music. The music was there, I don't know, on TV or 2 weeks ago or a week ago. You didn't even, it passed, and 3 weeks later you have this note roaming around your head. And there's no musician, there's no song, there's no record player, there's no radio station that is playing it, but it just, you're hearing it. Dum, 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 dum. Why? Why are you hearing something that doesn't exist? Why? There's an imprint of that note that when you first heard it, it's recorded. And now due to the malfunction of the signaling system, that recording has gone loose and it's just playing it. It's not real. It has no existence. It's an imprint, a recorded song, tune, is being replayed because its imprints are there while there's no musician, no record player is playing it in actuality at the moment that you're experiencing that. It's a hallucination of sound. Hallucination, not real, not in existence, but you hear it like an imprint. So HOCD is also non-existence of an information imprint in your brain that has seeped through the media and discussions and pictures and pictorials that is out there floating on internet and everywhere else, and discussions as part of the life that we live, part of the world that we live in. That information has seeped through and left an imprint when it was recorded, because we record all information, whatever it is that we get from media, from discussions, from books, from whatever that is happening in the world, and we get to know about it. We have this receiver that we get to know about it. And when it's recorded, an imprint of it is left for the recording. And sometimes that gets played, it's got nothing to do with me. I have no interest in that thought or image or activity or lifestyle or whatever it is for me personally. But yet I could see certain images, anybody I'm talking about. The same thing as the hallucination of the music, the sound, the imprint of it, because it was recorded. Somehow that information had gotten into your brain for that note, and then a malfunction of the signaling system had released it, and it starts creating that hallucination and an image of that sound, which you recognize it as the note that it is, because you're designed to recognize that. But it really doesn't exist. And HOCD is the same. You have that all that information that somehow seep through the brain, which we all get all that information through the natural environment, the mediums in the world. We are aware of what is happening in the world, lifestyles, genders, and all that sort of inclination, so on. But it's got nothing to do with me. It's irrelevant to me. But I have that information recorded in here, like any other information that we record. And then signaling system can go rogue and malfunction, and then that again, like a hallucination, starts turning the imprint into images and suggestions and thoughts and so on. But none of them are relevant to you. They're meaningless to you. They're irrelevant to you, but they are leaving their effect as a hallucination, just like the SSS, stuck sound syndrome. This one, HOCD. It works the same way. But when it comes to that, because it has no interference with anything, it's not like, oh, that song I hate. No. Some people actually, about 30% of people don't have a problem. About 30% of people actually are really annoyed with those hallucination of the sounds. And most of us find it as fun. Oh, I can't get rid of this. I constantly, la, 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 la. I can't get rid of it. God damn it, what is... That's the extent of our discomfort, right? And we don't really think of it as discomfort. But it's the same mechanism as the HOCD and any other type of thing. Subsets of OCD of that kind, intrusive thoughts, I mean. But we are very conscious about that and very particular about that. And why? Because that has to do with our identity. And we're very focused on protecting our identity. If we were not against that sort of intrusive thoughts, we wouldn't care. But because it is not us, therefore you become annoyed. But you understand that this is a hallucination, that something that is of something that doesn't exist, like the SSS, stuck sound syndrome. Then you wouldn't understand that. So fuck it, I don't give a shit what kind of image it is. The fact that thoughts or images or suggestions of homosexuality shows up in your brain, a brain of a heterosexual, that doesn't mean you become homosexual or you're turning or you're living in denial. It just means the same kind of a malfunction in the signaling system as it is in the SSS, stuck sound syndrome. Trying to explain it to you, which means it's irrelevant. Everything about it is a hallucination. But because the brain is so powerful, it makes you think and makes you feel that thought, react in the body because of the thought. That thought makes you, because the brain is so powerful. And then you begin to think it's, oh, might be real. No, it's all creating a hallucination of something that doesn't exist. If it can do it with the song, it can do it with the images, it can do it with the thoughts, it can do it with the feelings. But you gotta be smart to understand that none of that has any actuality and reality, truth to it. It's a hallucination, malfunction of the signaling system in the brain, and the scientists have proven where we're talking about. The striatum, caudate nucleus, and we all know how the rest of it is, which I don't want to go through it because that will be the whole discussion. Anyhow, so having said that, let's move on to next question. But give me a moment. Let me have some tea. Yummy. Who asked that question anyhow? All right. Muja says, female, 53 USA. Thank you, dear. 53 USA. What about multiple personality disorder, she says. What about it? Another, malfunction in the brain. Most of the time, they are chemical imbalance that the neurons, sometimes it is, remember guys, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychotherapist, I'm not a scientist, so therefore you need to, if you think you got to talk to your psychotherapists, talk to them and ask the questions that are important to you. Here I can tell you about my research, my understanding, and that's just my understanding. So, if I were to discuss what question you mentioned right now, which I forgot what the hell I wanted to say. You know, when you come up with a disclaimer in the middle of your discussion, you forget what the hell I was going to talk about. I actually had something interesting to tell you. Okay. So the chemical imbalance, naturally, when the neurons, in a function called neural ensemble, that is when a number of cluster of different neurons creating different things that are not so relevant to each other, would have to, in a precise moment, to complete a certain image in order to be able to montage them so they can all be synchronized at the same moment happening to create that picture for you. For example, if you try to imagine something that doesn't exist, which is not one picture, it needs more than several groups of neurons to create that, because it's not all one type. Like, it's not a horse. It's not an elephant. It's an elephant with the head of a lion. It's a lion with the head of an elephant. Or it's a lion with the head of a duck. As I'm saying these things, or a giraffe with the head of a hippopotamus. As I am saying these things, you're imagining them, right? That's how powerful and precise the brain's capabilities are to create images that, even if they don't exist, they have equipment to have several different groups of neurons to get involved and start making a lion with the head of a duck and the tail of a monkey or tail of an elephant, or having the trunk of an elephant coming out of the lion's ass, and yet the lion has a head of a duck with all the mane and everything. You can see you can create all that, right? That's the brilliance and the power of the technology of the brain. It can imagine anything. Now, in order to do that, some of the neurons got to travel from this part to this part, a different distance, long distance, in order to join with the other cluster of neurons. And when they're trying to do these travels in precise moments in time, they travel in sheaths, like a tubes, like a subway tube from UK to France, underwater tube, right? The channels they've created. So these neurons are traveling these sheets. And if there is a static, or rather malfunction, or some kind of a deficiency in these tubings, in sheets, they could actually rub against each other while these neurons are traveling, the sheets, if they're not completely healthy or formed until they are repaired by themselves. And that creates a static. That static could create or interfere with the signals that is supposed to be reaching at a certain time to create a certain behavior or certain stability in the information that is being transmitted from one end of the brain to the other brain. In the process, that static could be one of the reasons of the discrepancies in the characteristics, or the accomplishing that particular task, whatever it is. And in, of course, most other cases, these are chemical imbalances that your psychotherapists and psychologists can explain more, because this is just my thinking through the stuff that I have been able to read, to put them together on my own. It's not a scientific notice, which I don't know if it is or not, but that's my take and my way of trying to explain to you, because that actually happens for the neural ensemble. And these characteristics that don't exist, or we end up seeing it in some other people, personalities that they don't really exist, but they think that they are, it could be having some kind of a connection with the neural ensemble, or the stuff that I was talking about. And it could also be nonsense, I don't know. So, Gaurav says, 28 male Canada. Hello, Meran. Hello. And Beyond the Wash says, hi, Meran. Male 29 Ireland. Just a quick word. What the hell you guys are doing up so late? It's 7 o'clock, 8 hours, 5 hours. It's 3 o'clock in the morning over there, no? What's wrong with you guys? I didn't think anybody from Europe would be joining us. That's why the title says North America and Asia, Australia special. But here we are. Beyond the Wash says, male 29 Ireland, just a quick word to say a thanks for help when my ex left by text the other night. I feel like fell into the category you spoke of. I don't want to be a part of a club that takes me as a member. So what happened? She said there was, oops. Where are we? She said, what? Spoke up. I don't want to be part of a club that takes me as a member. She said there was no spark. Unfortunately, I likely gave a little too much. Learned a lot and moving forward. Good. Yeah. You know, if a couple expect a constant spark, they might as well go open the hood of their car and take the head cylinder off and see the, or don't have to take this head cylinder off, just look at the spark plugs there. That's where the sparks are all the time. Otherwise, nothing normal sparks all the time. You know, the spark is an opportunity to be attracted, get to know each other. So, and then when you get to know each other, the sparks are not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be smooth combustion. The engine goes. You don't see constant sparking in something. When the fire is on, no more spark needed. The fire is on. So now maintain it. If she doesn't want to maintain it and constantly expect you to spark it rather than her doing her efforts and you doing your efforts, well, it's a wrong path to begin with. Anyhow. So good riddance. Don't worry about it. And Swati Rangra says, Swati, what happened to the protocol? Gender, age, where are you tuning in from? Give me that, I'll get back to your question. I'm going to be tough right now. No soup for you! Come on, guys, give me something. I got to know something about your cultural background, where you're tuning in from tells me that, your gender, and your age. That helps me to formulate my responses properly. And Swati is 35, female, Jersey City, India. Thank you for that, Swati. Let's go back to Swati's question. Swati says, my husband, now Swati is 35, female from India. Oh, yeah, 35, female, Jersey City, India. Swati says, my husband overthinks that if I dress my baby, who is just 2, in pink clothes, or let him play with Play-Doh and other soft stuff, then he might turn gay. Why does he think like that? Jesus. People don't turn gay. They're either born gay or not born gay. They don't turn gay. You don't turn gay. You're not, as I said many times before, you're not cow's milk. That you milk today and a few days later, due to temperature, you become sour milk. You know, buttermilk. And then a little later on, possibly due to temperature, you become yogurt. And then long time later, you become cheese. That doesn't happen. It's chromosomes. You have certain sequence of chromosomes, and your gender is created in your mother's womb based on that, and that's the end of it. It's not going to change. You're not going to turn. Because if you're supposed to, for many reasons, but the simple way that we can all understand it, beside the scientific proof that it's already done, it's all about chromosomes and genes. It doesn't, change. But if it was supposed to be changing, so if it can change from this to this, then you should be able to change this to this later on. Why not? If something is not supposedly, as the argument is here, or with your husband or some other people, is not stable, it's like saying why the color of your eyes in the middle of your life from blue doesn't go black. Because the genome has already been set in the mother's womb. This is what it's going to be. It's not going to change unless you put a lens on, which is not you. Yeah. So if something is not as stable as every organ of ours per their gene description is designed to be, if they're not, and you argue that this can change, like a heterosexual man, heterosexual individual can turn gay. So then, if that's the case, then gay can turn heterosexual. Or the heterosexual that you say can turn gay whenever in his life, then therefore that same person can also, again, from that new gender, turn back to the other gender that it came from. I mean, how many times this is going to happen through life? From like age this to this will be heterosexual, then this to this would be homosexual, then that, and later on would be again heterosexual. Then when are we going to have stability? How our species going to survive? When is the procreation to have children? All that will happen if we constantly changing gender. That one would want to mate with opposite sex and have babies, and then the other. How is that going to work? What this mentality started? How did it come up with? A certain percent of the population are born gay. A certain percent of population are born heterosexual. And the genome and the genes and the way our genders are decided and created is in the wombs of the mother. When you're born, you're born. However you're born, you're blessed with that. And you live and enjoy, and we are all equal, and embrace what we are and accomplish what we are here to accomplish. That's the end of that. What's this other business of you wear pink, you become gay? Why? Pink is a great color. I remember when I was, I know, but that's an old way of thinking. And in countries like, I don't know, India or Iran or Pakistan or places like that, they've got this old mentality and lack of education and all that continues in the traditional way of thinking that if it's a boy, even in North America, this is how it was for years and years and years. Even today, hardly anyone wears their young child. If it's a boy, they don't put blue or red necessarily clothing. They use, I don't know, blue. So blue for boys and pink for girls. It's just a traditional thing. It has no scientific backing. You can wear whatever you want and you'll still be the same gender you were yesterday. You can wear it for 10 years and still be the same gender that you've been born as. The same thing with kids. You know, I remember when I was, I don't know, 16 or 17, and there was this shirt. You know, then you wouldn't go to stores and buy a shirt. Not t-shirt, shirt, like, you know, dress shirt. You would actually go to a tailor and it would measure and then it would make that shirt for you. And you could choose a different color of the garment. And for the color of my skin, I was young and I wanted the girls to, you know, find me attractive. So naturally I would look to see what is gonna look good on me. One of the colors that looked, actually, I thought it would look good on me because I had some shirt. It was a reddish pinkish, like salmon, which was not so much out. And when that shirt was made, it actually looked very nice. It didn't turn me anything other than what it was. And I love women, and I'm heterosexual. And I enjoyed wearing that because many girls really liked it and thought I looked very handsome. So, but you know what? It's not a big deal for you to create something with your husband on that. And let me ask you this. Why do you wear your son pink anyhow? I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I'm saying, why would you? Give him all the chances that he would actually not be, I don't know, create a problem between you and your husband. It's not a big deal. But the Play-Doh thing is a bigger bullshit because a child is so fragile. You don't want to give him dangerous things to play with, like metal and steel. Play-Doh is good, but the danger with Play-Doh is not that he's going to turn gay. It's so ridiculous. The danger is that he could eat that thing. It's so soft and he could think it's edible. You shouldn't give a 2-year-old to play with those sort of things. So anyhow, tell your husband to chill out, man. It's not 500 years ago. Colors don't make people's genders change. In fact, wait till your son is older, and depending on his complexion, pink, light green, pistachio color, all kinds of green, looks good. Then if he likes it, likes it. Gender doesn't change. If that was the case like that, then the other way of it would be good. If somebody would work. If somebody is gay and they don't want to be gay, let's say, I don't know, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to deliver. So if they wear black or blue, then what? They would become heterosexual? The fuck is that? All right. Pardon my French. All right. Sam says, thank you, Mary. You're welcome. T says, hi, Meran. I've been doing well for some time with HOCD, but today was a bad spike. I don't know what to do when I get sensations and feelings of doubt when I know I'm straight and I love it like that. Nothing. You just focus on what you like. It doesn't matter what the brain suggests. Brain has got no brain. Brain is making thoughts because it's got nothing on the line. It's risking nothing on the line. Brain puts nothing on the line, so it has no reservation to invest with your money, to risk whatever it is that is wants to do. But it's your existence that the brain is risking, because the brain doesn't have any actuality. So to it doesn't care who you are, what you want to be. It just makes thoughts. And then basis of what we talked about all these times, then intrusive thoughts are created in every brain. But you're supposed to ignore it. Doesn't matter. What's it? It's a hallucination. Hallucination in the form of many different things. Could be sound, could be sight, could be thought and images, sexuality, all hallucinations. When you have HOCD, that's what it is. So, regardless of what shows up, you simply don't pay attention to it. Pay attention to what you want to be, what you are, what you love to be. Love woman? Focus on that. Say, hey, I don't care what you're suggesting. I love what I love, and I think about what I am, what I like to be, what I prefer to be. That's my preference. Because the brain, again, is no responsibility. I give you a funny example. Maybe that will explain a little bit. It's a role of it's about ham omelet. The difference between committed and involved. The brain is involved in all these conjuring up HOCD. But if you believe the brain, you'll be committed. And there's a difference between committed and involved. And for that, I bring to you the example of ham omelet. In ham omelet, egg is involved. Meaning hen, the chicken, is involved. Why? Because it just gives the eggs. The ham omelet, in ham omelet, there's eggs coming from the chicken, hens, and then there is ham coming from the pig. The chicken is involved because it gives the eggs out of its bum and then it's used, but the chicken is intact and goes and does its things. But the pig is committed. In order to make that ham omelet, they had to kill the pig. The pig is committed. So the risk here for making that ham omelet is the pig. And in our form, we are the pig, the brain is the chicken. In more ways than one. It's standing behind the curtain and say, go for it. But it's got no risk. It's involved. It gives suggestion, ideas, images, and bullshit. But if you believe it, you be committed. You'll be the pig. Meaning, you gotta actually go through with what the brain is suggesting. And the brain doesn't care, but you and many things about you is gonna be involved in that. And if you think about it, you don't want that. If you're heterosexual, you don't want that. So you gotta figure out what is the role of the brain that is suggesting all these things, and what is your level of involvement in this? Which one is involved? Which one is committed? You will see that the brain is not taking any risk. You're going to take all the risks. And is that the kind of thing that you want to entertain? I can't be more explicit on this. Perhaps maybe on a private Skype conversation I can, but you get the gist of it. So in other words, that was funny, but at the same time, it tells you that the brain is suggesting these things because it has no responsibility. It's not you. Brain is not you. So brain conjures up bullshit for its own amusement and its own security because it can get secured, find security through involvement in process of thinking, through topics of thinking, through occupation, being occupied, being busy, through making thoughts that creates reactions and continuation of discussions and so on and so forth. But otherwise, it's not you, so it has no risk. Therefore, you can understand that you should not follow the brain. Brain is not you. You are not the brain. You are you. Brain is brain. Brain is conjuring up things, but those things should not be accepted by you and should just leave them. Focus on who you are, what you prefer, what you want to be, and that's all you got to be focused. In that way, brain will find itself not being entertained and learns not to continue the intrusive thoughts the way it does, and then you'll be able to manage it and focus on your life. Why breathing techniques works, as I explained last time, and the type of breathing that we talked about, because we said there are two kind of a system in breathing. Pre-Butzinger complex is responsible for breathing normally. And parafacial nuclei, parafacial nuclei is when you can manipulate the rhythm of the breathing. And when you change the rhythm of breathing, like instead of the regular, the pre-Butzinger complex, and use the other system, parafacial nuclei, and do the breathing rhythm, change it like this. It stimulates the brain to get out of the groove that is created and gives it the opportunity to get back to normality and gets out of depression, gets out of anxiety, and clears your brain from intrusive thoughts for that moment as it fills up all the little balloons in the lungs and its capabilities increases in exchanging the CO2 with oxygen. And the oxygen brings more clarity. And that's why meditating in breathing exercise will help. Mindful exercise will also help. So it brings more focus. And this breathing also nudges the brain into bring more focus to its tranquility rather than the statics that is getting from here and there, which are the intrusive thoughts And so you kind of break that rhythm and give it a little bit of a jolt, a shock that works and makes the brain come to its senses. It's like the shock that psychologists give to a patient with deep depression and anxieties, kind of gets the brain out of that groove. And this is a different way, but has similar effect on that you can do it on your own, which is the breathing part, and gives a shock to the system and it stimulates it differently and gets the brain out of that rot that is created for anxiety and depression. Gives you an opportunity to get involved in positive activities, exercise, mindful exercises, play some game, go for a walk, and the stuff that you don't feel like starting it, these breathing gives you that motivation and shock and brings you to normality and balance, to gives you that window of opportunity to get involved in those good positive activities to help you to bring that balance back to yourself. Orny says, why HOCD is kind of common? Well, because everybody has intrusive thoughts. It's not something that only you have. The only difference is that when people who don't have OCD, they experience intrusive thoughts, they say, ooh, that was bad thoughts, and then caudate nucleus does its job automatically, shuts down the intrusive thoughts based on knowing what your core values and what your gender and what other information about you is, what your inclination and preferences are. It knows that, and based on that, it automatically is designed to shut down intrusive thoughts that are not in line with your values. But when it goes malfunctioning and it doesn't do its job automatically, then, and you have an OCD, it lingers. Otherwise, it's not like you're the only one who has OCD, HOCD, or intrusive thoughts. It's everybody has it, but the way it's handled and managed and got rid of and refocused on the other stuff is the difference. Not that, and that basically we've talked about it, that the brain finds its security through occupation, process of thinking. And when at these pandemic times especially, or at one time or another in life, the brain is not busy or it doesn't find its security through all kinds of activities and projects that you may have, and it has an OCD and there's a malfunction in the caudate nucleus, midbrain, which is part of the striatum, then these intrusive thoughts lingers and comes up with affecting the body to react to the thoughts and so on and so forth. But when the brain is busy, you're playing chess or you're running around exercising or busy with your projects and whatnot, or meditating, the brain is already active enough. It's not looking for occupation to find security. It finds the security in its tasks, and therefore it's not running around and create unnecessary and irrelevant thoughts. But when you're not so busy, it still wants to find its security. And because it can't find security in physicality, it finds security in occupation and processing in thoughts. So it goes into the memory, and in order to have these thoughts continue, finds negative thoughts, finds intrusive thoughts, because that gets a rise out of you. You react to it, and this reaction and back and forth, discussion and debate and data hunting will continue, gives the brain processing. And in that processing and occupation, it finds security, because brain is very scaredy cat. It's designed on anxiety. And in order for it not to be anxious, it needs to find things to be busy with. And when life today is not as busy as a million years ago, where the dinosaur would attack you or a tiger would have, I don't know if tigers existed a million years ago, or something else, other animals or other species of yours were about to attack you. Dangers are all around. The brain was always busy through sensing all these anxieties and dangers. But those reasons for anxiety have subsided in this supposedly civil world. And so the brain is not constantly focused on dealing with something, so it's got lots of time on its hand, but it wants to be finding security in occupation, and it's no longer as occupied as a million years ago through anxiety and dangers they had to deal with. So now what is it going to do? It's going to find some kind of a danger. It's going to make you think that you're homosexual if you're heterosexual. I'm going to make you think you're heterosexual if you're homosexual. It's going to create intrusive thoughts in order to create that anxiety and danger, because it's designed to be finding occupation and busyness through anxiety, anxiousness. So it creates that anxiety for itself. And you got to be more knowing of it and handle it by understanding what it's happening and not believing and buying into the bullshit that it's creating. But because it's so powerful, when it creates these thoughts and images, it can make you believe it, because the brain is very powerful. That's why you really got to understand how it works, so you won't get bamboozled and fooled by it. So you will be like sitting on a horse that you've trained, and you know how to control it and how to behave with it, communicate with it, interact with it. So it will take you to the destination that you want to go, and jumps over the obstacles that you want it to jump. And if you don't, it will make you believe that it has the brain and it knows where the destination is, and it takes you wherever that it wants to go, which you never ever wanted to be near the vicinity of those places. But because you can't communicate with the brain and you don't understand that it's messed up. Every one of our brains are messed up. They malfunction. When you understand all these things, then you will be able to understand what's happening, so you won't be duped and fall for the bullshit. Whether it's intrusive thoughts of pedophilia, or harm OCD, or responsibility OCD, or religious OCD, or washing hand OCD, or homosexual OCD, whatever the subset of OCD is, you won't be duped because you know how it works. So, having said that, Alien says, I keep getting attacked by that same thought too, of another guy screwing my ex and being in other situations with her, and feels like I'm torturing myself. Why? Been 3 years divorced now. Well, that is, as I just mentioned, the brain works on anxiety levels, and it creates all that intrusiveness, and you want to continue that intrusive thoughts. In order to get to the end of it, you imagine all the tangents that are possible, as weird and as bad and as intrusive as it could be, not because you enjoy it, because you want to see what happens and how you can end it, because you think if you get to the end of it, the turn off switch of the intrusive thought, you think it's at the end of all possibilities that that intrusive thoughts could go to. And that motivation makes you actually keep imagining all that shit. But if you focus on the fact that that's not going to help, because you're just constantly helping you to imagine more and more of the same shit that you hate. So what you need to do is to recognize that this is an intrusive thought, that is obnoxious, that is nasty, that you're not interested in it, and then simply diss it, like ignore it. You recognize what it is, and once you recognize it, that's intrusive thoughts, not me. That's HOCD, not me. That's OCD, not me. And then once you recognize what it is, then you focus on what it is that you prefer, or what it is that you're about to do in life, in that daily, whatever it is, involvement. And you focus on that, regardless of what's in the background, what wants to push in and come into the images and thoughts and so on. You simply focus on what you need to focus, and they can be there. You can say, okay, your thoughts can be there. I don't give a shit what kind of thought it is, but I'm not interested. I'm not going to pay attention to it. I'm not going to debate with it, trying to prove to you that I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not interested in that. I just don't give a fuck. In other words, whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Think about it. But I'm the one who's got the control of turning anything, allowing anything, any thought, images, suggestions to become an action into actuality in my life or not. So it doesn't matter what you conjure up. I will not let it to be an action. I will not choose. My choices are my security. My choices are my protection. I have to choose it, and I don't choose this because I recognize it's intrusive thoughts, and I don't choose it, and I choose my life. And you keep doing that, eventually it gets a message that, okay, this guy doesn't give a shit, and it's not going to give me attention, and they will learn. The brain rewires itself through neuroplasticity and learns how to tone these things down and disappear. And if they reappeared again, you know what to do because you know what they are. All right. Amon says, I was asking for passion for work, not exactly girls. I was asking for a work of programming I do. I lost a little passion work. Well, that I have explained in other videos that you got to translate what you do, your job, to the lifestyle that it brings for you. What is it going to do? It's going to put food on the table. It's going to give you ability to rent a place on your own, live on your own. It's going to help you to be able to buy some gift or take a date on a nice dinner, or buy her some good stuff, or buy something that you like to buy. So translate what you're doing, the programming, into what it does to your life. What kind of changes and possibilities it can create for your life. Translate to the quality of life that that job that you do can bring for you. Then you will be motivated to do more of it and be better at it, because you can see the better you are at that, the more of a opportunity and comfort and facilities and things that you can provide for yourself, for your loved ones, or however it is that you want to spend your money. So translate what you do rather than just doing what you do. Translate it to what difference it makes, what it can do for your life, quality of your life, and your lifestyle. Anna says, thanks for the advice, Mehran, and the example with pool table and Sharon Stone. I feel like I screwed up and showed boyfriend my insecurities already. Yes, you did. Well, you can change it. You're a woman. You know. Just the flick of your eyes, and you guys turn your eyebrows and just give a little attitude that changes the whole thing. Don't worry about it. You guys have more power than you think, and you gotta have more confidence in yourself. Maybe I should put a course on how to bring confidence for women only. You guys don't know how powerful you guys are. Jesus. Says, what do I do? For example, I went through this Facebook and found his old travel pictures. Oh, come on. What do you think he was? A priest? Even a priest these days, they do all kind of weird things. Let the guy be. I mean, the guy was supposed to be a man before it met you. Otherwise, you would be having a boy on your hand who've never had any experience, don't know what to do. So, cool off. That's all right. Don't look at these things. Why do you torture yourself? Why you expect that this guy has been sitting around waiting for you to show up with no understanding of what woman is, how to deal, how to interact with women, how to respect women, how to love women, nothing. And when how? Pretty soon you would say, well, I don't want this guy anymore. He doesn't know what to do. He has no experience. He doesn't know how to interact with women. And he doesn't. That would be another complaint. So, so Facebook, and I found this old travel pictures with X, and I started crying. Oh, come on. And yelled at him. What did you want him to do? It's no different than saying that, I noticed that he's been eating before my cooking came to the picture. What did you want him to do? Not eat? Because now you can cook for him. That's a necessity in life. Just because you didn't, that doesn't mean he shouldn't have. Sex and having a relationship is like anything else in life. It's necessary for our survival. It's not just drinking water and eating food and sleeping. Also intimacy, relationship. So you expect him Are you going to yell at him because he's been eating all his life and didn't wait until you come around, and he would have been fossil by now? You would have had a bunch of bones and you know what I'm saying. So and now he lies everything he talks about. Yeah, because you scared the shit out of him. Of course he lies. He loves you. He wants to be with you. He wants to have a life. You're turning this into fucking hell because you don't realize that what he did was nothing bad or illegal or immoral or something. He needed, he's a man and you're a woman. We all need sex, intimacy, relationship. Not just to learn how it is to deal with women, interact with women, and understand women as through experience, and for you to know how men are and understand them, or to understand how to deal with them. It's also part of what we need to be balanced. Have you not seen the guys who've not been with any woman, haven't had sex, and haven't masturbated either, and you can see them kind of edgy and they're intrusive to your space because they see you, so they just want to say something. They just want to, come and get your number. Because you look at the prey with them. That's the kind of behavior a man gets if they don't take care of certain things. Now, if someone is having a healthy relationship, a girlfriend, or a girlfriend has a boyfriend, well, then they are calm and be able to focus on life and be more productive and so on and so forth. Your expectation of him not having eaten at all, not having been with any woman at all, because you haven't, it's unreasonable. And you've turned him into a liar, that he's scared as shit in order to say anything truthful. And the truthful is that he loved them, he liked them, he wanted to be with them, and that's okay. That's normal. Don't tell me you didn't fantasize for any of the actors or pictures. Don't tell me you didn't fantasize for many actors and good-looking actors. Shah Rukh Khan, every Indian girl fantasizes for him. Don't tell me you didn't fantasize about him or some other actor or some other good-looking man. So just because you haven't had the chance to be with them, then it's okay. But your husband, who had a chance to be with some women, then suddenly he's terrible, man. Huh? You fantasize too. So don't tell me you didn't fantasize, because it's a pure lie. Any normal human being, man or woman, will be interested in relationship, intimacy, and would fantasize about it with, some woman or man that, they choose as, meeting their, whatever, criteria. So change that for him. I mean, not just change that for him. Change it in your mind that it's okay. This is normal. This is natural for a man to have been with another woman and to have been in love before he met you. And when I say man, I mean human being, not just male. So you could have been in love. I'm sure you've been in love with somebody, just didn't happen to be in a relationship. And so now he lies. Everything he talks about his past, I caught him lie about his ex because I did back up recently. No. You are making a mistake. It's none of your business if he loved someone before. Just because they can't find any evidence on you having loved someone before, that doesn't mean that you're different than he is. You just didn't have the opportunity. Or however the brainwash or the conditioning or the traditional behavior was, you just didn't do it. But you wanted to do it. You loved to do it. That's why you're doing it with him. If you didn't want it and didn't like it or didn't agree with it, why are you with him? How come you are now? That means at one point in time, you are in agreement with having sex and having intimacy if it meets your specification, and at the same time, the opportunity arises. For him, it did. You didn't pursue it, but I'm sure you had fantasies. So that means you're also normal. So you turn the poor guy into some scaredy cat, and that's not good. I caught him. What do you mean you caught him? It's his right to have loved another woman. The fact is, he doesn't love another woman but you right now. And you're going to take that away from him as well. And you're going to take that away from you as well. He hasn't done anything wrong. And you don't have anything over him because you haven't done anything. And I'm sure you, if you had the chance, you would have. Come on now. We're all grown up here. And I researched about those ex-girlfriends, and we fight, and he said he lied because he didn't want to hurt. Yeah, he's right, the poor guy. You're turning him into a psycho, and you're pushing him to go away and find another woman and say, well, fuck this. Don't do that. He hasn't done any sin. The bad behavior would be if he does this when he's with you. And you're pushing him to do it. Don't. Stop this. So I told him I hate liars and to tell me the truth about his past whenever I asked. But yeah, look, if you create a certain kind of a atmosphere that he would feel safe to tell you, he would be safe, not that you will beat him, he will be safe that your love and attention and care would still be with him because he wants that. That's why he's with you. That's why he married you. And you put a fear into his heart that if he tells you the truth, he's going to lose your love and respect. And he doesn't want to come home to someone who doesn't have love and respect for him. But you're causing that. Don't. You give him the opportunity to feel safe and you be okay with it. And then for certain reasons or certain things you may want to know. But don't ask him, okay, how many times did you kiss her? And where did you kiss her? Did you kiss her legs? Did you actually, how did you sleep on it? Was it doggy style? Or was, these are going to drive you crazy because this is an OCD, information OCD. You need to know. You don't need, just like any other OCD, resist the compulsion by asking questions. Because whatever he did or did not do, he's not doing it now, and he's have no interest in them, but he loves you. And that's all it matters right now. Knowing about how, what side of the bed did you sleep? Did you do this? Where was your hand? I know what you're going through. I know what you want to do. Because you think by knowing all the details, you can erase everything in your memory about it and you can deny that this ever happened. No. Right now, it doesn't matter because it doesn't exist. That's more important than deleting anything, any memory. The fact is that none of those things are in actuality anymore. And that's what you should be focusing on. Anyhow, you may want to make an appointment with me on Skype and then we can discuss it. But other than that, this is going to go on for hours. It's not going to do what I'm intending to do here. And Anna says, like you said, I'm better quality and higher standards than any of his ex-GFs, but I don't know why I feel insecure. Maybe it's because I'm 32 and this is my first boyfriend. My high standards made me not anyone before him. Is this OCD? Oh, absolutely. Or am I just being possessive? That too. Because you think that if a man hasn't had a boyfriend is a better man than if he had if a man hasn't had a girlfriend, oops, if a man hasn't had a girlfriend, it's better man than if he had a girlfriend for you. That's bullshit. It's not true. You're missing the whole big picture. Despite of all those other experiences, he chose you, he married you, he wanted you. That means he has a point of reference. If he never had those girlfriends, he never knew what he has now, and he would have never chosen you. But because he had those girlfriends, he saw you're better than all of them. So he convinced himself to marry you. made a decision to marry you. That's supposed to be positive. Otherwise, if a man has never had a girlfriend, how can you be sure that he actually prefers you over other women? He has no point of reference. He just says, oh, sex, great, I'll have this, because I've never had it before. Right? But no, actually the man has had some experiences now. He can tell, he can know that you're great for him. That's the security of it for you, if you're looking for security. If he didn't, then he would never be sure that he actually chose you based on your qualities. He would think that he chose you because he wants to get between your legs, because that's all he can care about. That's how it is when a man hasn't ever had a girlfriend. That's all he's going to choose his wife based on. Oh, great, sex. That should be good enough. But for you, he knows that you have the sex and you have intelligence, manners, morals, all the beauties that he's expecting to have in bonding unconsciousness levels. So don't be an idiot. You should have more respect and pride in yourself. Don't give a shit. I don't care. Remember the Q? Don't care who she's been with. He's been with all those girls because you weren't around. Just put it this way. That's the kind of confidence you should have. Because as soon as you came around, none of those shits mattered anymore. Anyhow, I shouldn't have said shits, but I mean other girls. But anyhow, you can take what you like. Aman says, sound syndrome happened with me from childhood. I could hear it exactly. Thanks for explaining through this example. Yeah, good. Rachel, right? Rachel says, hallucination of sound. Well, yeah. Hallucination of sound, hallucination of giving actuality to thought, which does not have actuality. And these are all deficiencies and malfunctionings of our brain quality, which is still in progress, and work in progress. But we think we are perfect. And the arrogance of it is that we think we are perfect. And since we think we are perfect, we don't expect any malfunction. So any malfunction that happens, we don't think it's malfunction. We think it's actually function. No, it's a fucking malfunction. Our brains does malfunction. We are not perfect. We're fucked up. In fact, our brain quality is very low in quality. 100%. Maybe in about, I don't know, another 40,000 years, possibly the evolution will take over and then the glitches will not happen and all these OCD, HOCD bullshit and hallucination of sound and all that will not happen because there's no reason other than malfunction because they have no goodness to them. There's no benefit to them, other than an opportunity for you to educate yourself and find out how fucked up our brain's design is. Salut! Live your lives. There's enough bullshit outside. It doesn't need to allow bullshit from inside also add up to it. Just stay on course. Ash says, for one night only, I'll be Asian. Male, 32, Japan. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, if he was female, 32, Japan, I may have shown some interest. Japanese girls are awesome. They're so feminine, so interesting, so reassuring. It's the qualities. Of course, any woman around the world is amazing, but I'm talking about culturally. And Ash says, arigato, Mehran. Doidashimashita. Says, brother, hope you're good. HOCD is still topic of the week, but lately I've been having morbid thoughts about my mother dying. She's not. She isn't the fittest or healthiest of humans, but I've never worried like this before. Yeah, because you love her, and when you are faced with OCDs and things like that, the doubting disease is at its height. And OCD is doubting disease. And it doesn't stay with one topic. It leaches on to doubting any other thing that is stable in your life. Everything that is stable and true in your life, like your gender, your sexuality, the love for your mother, the love for life, loving yourself, the things that you do, all of that's going to be attacked by the doubting disease when it's at its height of activity, which it usually is. So it's not going to stay limited to one topic. Now it's doubting the health of your mother and bringing about intrusive thoughts about your mother dying, your mother's health, and all this creates anxiety and fear in you, because that's what OCD does. Creates anxiety, fear, doubt, uncertainty. And the key is to be able to live with uncertainty and understand that I don't need certainty to be able to be certain. So I don't need certainty in order to be certain about my life. I can be certain about who I am, what I do, what I love to do in all uncertainties, because I don't give a fuck about uncertainties. I only rely on the actuality and my abilities of choice and my preferences and my ability to turn something to action or not by my choice, my will. I am in command, not thoughts, images, suggestions, or brain, or whatever else is out there, other people's opinions, utterings, and anything else. Me. Capiche? And he says, I think when we are younger, we feel invincible, and so we live recklessly too, and we automatically assume everyone else we know will live forever. Obviously not, but we are all living that illusion. And Ash says, also HOCD is doing its thing now and again still. Sometimes when I speak to people, I'm hyper aware of how I'm speaking and what my tone is like. Does my cadence sound gay, etc.? I know this is just HOCD. Yeah, it is. Just so okay. Just tell yourself, okay, it sounds gay. Fuck it. I don't care. Maybe, I don't know, I wear something that maybe a gay person wears it too. Who cares? I am still me, and that person is that person. So if I sound this way or that way, you can imitate the sound, purposely imitate the sound of some, I don't know, some actor or some lion. Does that make you a lion? Does that make you that actor? No. So if the other way of it is right too. If you just happen to sound like someone that you don't want to sound like, that doesn't mean you have become that person or have anything to do with that kind of a personality. Just ignore it. Just talk the way you talk, doesn't matter. You're okay with uncertainty, that's all right. Don't put everything under the microscope. Just leave it. Just live your life. And Ash says one last thing, which was disturbing as fuck initially, was this horrible urge to come out to my family, despite not being gay. I've learned to ignore it, but it pops up now and again when I when I become sentimental. Listen, thoughts. What happens if you think you're a lion? you're going to go into to family and say, listen, by the way, I'm a horse today. I'm a lion, or I'm an engineer, or I am an aerospace engineer. You know, brain can suggest any kind of thing. But if it's a OCD, it's OCD, all subset of it. So it happens to be HOCD. That doesn't mean you're gay. You're not supposed to go and say, hey, look at this, guys, friends, family. By the way, I'm gay. Really? So you were heterosexual and you turned gay. And what are you going to do a month from now or a few years from now or whenever? Because if this changes to this, then this can also changes to the other. So then you were heterosexual, you were gay, so you're going to go say, look, I'm gay. And then, but you will never turn anything to action. It's just a thought, and you will not have a gay lifestyle, and you will not choose that or enjoy that, therefore you won't do it. And then what? A few years later, you're going to see, oh, I'm not gay. Then you're going to do what? Announce, oh, by the way, I'm not gay. And then when HOCD happens, then you're going to go and come out and say, oh, excuse me, I'm gay. What are you going to do? They're going to just say, what's going on? So what I'm trying to tell you is that as long as you are not choosing a certain lifestyle and you know its thoughts, then the thought of coming out of what? Once you deal with what it is, it's hallucination. Deal with what it is. It's HOCD. It's OCD. It's a malfunction in the signaling system. If every time we malfunction in the signaling system, we're going to go and own that malfunction, then nobody's going to be who they are. Because we constantly are having different images and different through our life every day. It's like, look, we have different images all day long, depending on what we do. You go to a store, you do shopping, you're image of a shopper. If you work in a store, you have image of a clerk. If you go on a bus, you're a passenger of the bus, image of a passenger. You drive the bus, you're a bus driver. You go to school, a student, you have image of a student. And you teach the class, you're an image of a professor. So which one of these are you? You change because these images are useful for what you're doing. And sometimes many of these images that show up, you have no use for them. So you don't use them. Because it's like you're in a shop and trying to do shopping, but you have an image. You can't have the image of a clerk. You're the shopper. And if the image of, if you think you're a clerk, you still won't act on it to go behind the till and start getting money out of it. Because then you're going to be really being something that you're not. You're going to be, taken to jail. So you won't commit to something that you know you're not, even though if the thought of it shows up, but you have the reasoning and intelligence to know that this is hallucination, this is a suggestion, but I am not that. I'm not a clerk, I'm a shopper. I'm a passenger in the bus, I'm not the driver. So you can't believe into, if you're a passenger in the bus, to think that you're the driver, you go start driving the bus. You won't do it. Even the thought of it might show up. You may be driving and say, oh, I'm going to hit that person, but you're not going to hit it. It's an intrusive thought shows up. So what are you going to do? If that thought shows up, you're going to go to police station and say, sir, I want to announce that I wanted to kill someone. That's the same thing. You have HOCD, you're going to announce to your family that you want to come out. But it's an intrusive thought. You're driving and you want to hit the other car, you want to push someone over the platform of the subway and you want to kill them. A thought shows up. So what are you going to do? You're going to go to police and say, I wanted to kill someone. But you never would have turned it into action. You would have never done that. It's an intrusive thought. The same way you handle those intrusive thoughts, you handle this intrusive thought. Don't buy into the shit. You don't believe in it because you know it's not. So, simple. You don't have to believe the brain. The brain is stupid. All right. Rachel says, so when you have intrusive thoughts, what do you say to them? You say the jig is up. It's intrusive thoughts. That's OCD, not me. That's intrusive thoughts, not me. And she says, don't care, you're irrelevant. kind of like fly. Yeah, you got it. You just wave it up. You got it. And continue doing what you're doing. Yes, dear. But yes, yes, you said it. I've said these things in my other videos. I hope you picked it up from there. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I hope that, you said it right. Let's put it this way. That's what you do. Intrusive thought comes in. And you got to watch my video that I produced, and it is... it shows you that there is a difference between thoughts, brain, and you. And I've discussed that. I think there's many of them. One of them is called Who is Talking to God? And in that's the title of it, but in there, I have used an example, and I think I have that other videos that has different title, but it discusses the same thing with better thumbnail and shorter version of it. Let me see if I can get some of those for you guys. So there is a video that I have that is, let me put this for you. I want you to watch this when you guys interested and have time for it. It's a long video, but it says HOCD is brain's conspiracy. There are 4 parts, but this has got all parts in it. And I want you to watch that. And then there is this other one that I'm sorry, there's 2 parts, but that's to both parts. And then there is one that says, get your sanity back in 29 minutes. In 39 minutes, that's the one. And I want to put this up here. These are the long, these are like, there are 4 parts, but this is one that has all 4 parts in it. I know it's long, but I want you to guys watch these long ones, because through watching it, you're going through neuroplasticity, that repeating it and then getting more attention to the topic. And I think that's the one that I have another version of it that says, who's talking to God? But I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see if that's the one. Give me a moment. And this one is a very short version of something maybe we say it in our live streams. It's how to deal with intrusive thoughts in 51 seconds. That's a short version. It's a couple of sentences like what we talked right now. And this is also very interesting. I want to... Well, there's 3 parts in this one. I want you to find the other 2 parts yourself. It says, why you talk to your brain. This is part 3, but I want you guys to find part 1 and start from there. It's just giving you the thread. And one of these is the same as this other one that I'm going to put up, which is who's talking to God. But I really think it's already in one of the selections that I've sent you. But I'm going to put that one too, just to make sure that you have it covered. In case you don't find the one that is saying who's talking to God, here it is. But I might have already mentioned it in the selections that I've sent already. the links to you. So Anna, was it? No. Yeah, was it Anna? Yeah. Who asked? Was it? No, it was Rachel, huh? Yeah, it was Rachel. Rachel, I put those for you. Rachel, is it, or Rachel? So hopefully that you will enjoy it. Don't forget, guys, if you want to discuss with me one-on-one, you can go on my site, mind@seekstruth.com, mind@seekstruth.com, and make an appointment on Skype. Talk to Mehran via Skype, or click on the Skype button that is turning on top right corner of the page. And make a 1 hour appointment. I'll throw in another hour for you. We'll have 2 hours to have our session in that one session and explore what's concerning you one-on-one together on Skype. That was my station identification advertisement. Now we go on to and Ash says, it's as if I can't feel emotion anymore. HOCD seems to attack me when I feel emotion, yeah. Such as listening to music, yeah. Or when I become nostalgic or feel like I need to cry, which is very rare, yeah. Well, yeah, well. Aman, how old are you? I forgot. Ash, you too. Remind me, please. Roller Girl is here. It says, hi, Mehran and everyone from Crystal 55, Los Angeles. I mean, Las Vegas. Sorry about that. Change your hometown. Crystal, good to see you, dear. You haven't been around for a while, have you? And Gregor's Dram says, are you an academic? You are really articulate. Thank you very much. My pleasure. Well, I don't know if I can be called that or not. I don't have any titles. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychotherapist. Not a scientist. Maybe I am. I don't know. But definitely, I have no medical degrees of any sort. So I want to make sure there's no misunderstanding. What you hear here is my training and experience and research on topics such as mind and body coordination, meditation, movement of mind, a relationship between mind and the body, and power of energy of the universe, energy of the nature, conflux and the movement and flow of the energy throughout the universe and through us. And then my studies and research on the movement of the psyche, the fragments of the psyche, what is thought, what is thinking, what is consciousness, what is the relationship between consciousness and thoughts, where do thoughts come from? What about anxiety? What about desire? What about pleasure? What about ego? What about fear? And what is order? What is mechanical process? What is material process? All these are things that I have researched, and through my 65 years of age experience and life experience firsthand, and research and studies and so on and so forth, I've been able to, and also examining the research and work of masters of 100 years ago, I've been able to understand certain things and deliver them in a certain way. And you can take a look at some of the stuff I've said in the forewords of my books on my site, mind@seekstruth.com, and read a sample chapter of my book, which if I were to choose one of the three, I would choose Me, My Psyche, and I. Me, My Psyche, and I. Take a look at the table of contents, what chapters and topics it covers, and read a sample chapter. You can push a button and it gives you a sample chapter to read. And of course, you can acquire it. The print version is expensive and heavy, and actually that looks like this. And it's 360 pages. It's upside down, sorry. And the same book in ebook version is available. This one is $80 US, shipping included, but the ebook is like, I don't know, $8 or $8.99 or something like that, much cheaper. Same book, same number of pages. So I suggest you pick up the ebook if you like. But anyhow, you can check and see stuff that I talked about: meditation, mind power, talking about fear, desire, ego, talking about what they are and how you understand them, and many other things that I've described. And I've also explained a little bit more about myself in the forewords, and so on. So, having said that, Swati says 35, female, Jersey City, India. Oh yeah, okay, we got that one. And Muja says, thank you, you're welcome. Swati says, living in the US currently. Ah, okay. And Rachel says, 38, Florida. Ah, excellent. Swati says, Indian ethnicity, living in Jersey City, USA. Ah, okay, okay. I was wondering if there is a Jersey City in India. Okay, now you cleared it up. T says, if you say people are born their sexuality, then how is it still our choice? I'm saying when you have HOCD, you got to focus on our choice. And your choice is what you have been created as, what you've been living as, what you love to be, what you want to be. It's not you who goes around and says, I want to be this other than what I am. It is brain that is suggesting that, and that is not you. What I'm trying to tell you is that there is a difference between brain and you. There was a me, there was a you before the brain was added. 40,000 years ago, after millions of years living, we still didn't have the brain that we have today. We had a stem brain, and everything was hardwired. You would live instinctively, like any animal, like you've lived all your life, all a million years. But then, so that means there was a you before the brain, before the capability of thinking and speaking was given to you, added to you. So there was a me before. This was added. Now it interferes with every simple thing, everything that is us. It suggests shit. It suggests things that is not about us. It tries to manipulate because it has malfunctioning. It has problems. We are much older than our brain is. We, as a species, we've been living way before speaking and thinking capabilities were given to us. So this apparatus, brain, is added to us. So you have the choice to protect what your core values are and what is relevant to you and meaningful to you and what is meaningless and irrelevant to you. So whatever brain conjures up is not what you're supposed to follow. You still gauge that what is conjured up against the values that you have in you, and you're holding it sacred. Includes your gender, your sexual inclination, your mentality, your morals, your preferences, your judgments, how you lived through what it is that you think is suitable to you. Based on that, you gauge all these intrusive thoughts. And when they don't measure up, they're not in line with your values, you diss them, you ignore them. That's your choice. That's what I'm talking about when I say choice. That means if someone wants to interfere with it, you have the choice of not allowing it, not agreeing with it. Like you're walking in the street and some asshole comes around and says, hey, I want to do this to you. What are you going to say? You have a choice. You respond according to your preference, your choice. Not that whatever is suggested to you, say, oh, well, then it's suggested. I must be that. Then let's go. Now, if you're born in a certain way, then you comply and you live your life according to how you've been born and what your preference is since birth. That's what your preference is. But you're not supposed to be bullied. I don't care what your gender is. You're not supposed to be bullied. Whether by outside, in school, in schoolyard, in streets, in job sites, or anything else, or whether it's coming from your own brain. You shouldn't be bullied. whatever your sexuality is. If you're homosexual, be proud of it. Don't be bullied. That is you. And enjoy your life. Embrace it and accomplish what you're here to accomplish. If you're born heterosexual, then that is what you protect. Your life depends on it. Regardless of who suggests what and bullies you from outside in the street or wherever it is, or your own brain suggests things that are meaningless and irrelevant to you. Do not be bullied, period. Whether from outside or inside. Whatever your gender is. We're all equal. And we can't be bullied. Regardless of anything. Whether it's about whatever or your gender or whatever. That's the whole suggestion. So that's the choice sometimes. You have the choice to protect yourself. Let's put it this way. Whatever that is to you. Swati says, because I love pastel colors on my son, and it's not always pink. Yeah, okay, great. But you might want to consider what things that he would associate, because we're living in a society. You're not living in an island that is only you, your husband, and your child. The society has given certain kind of connotation, and he might see certain colors on certain things. The association is important. So mix it up. Give it a good balance. So it wouldn't be all what you like to see your son is wearing. It would be also what traditionally society would create a hierarchy or create a association to, I don't know, the fashion or style. It's kind of not the same, very different, but it's kind of like if you wear your son a dress. Of course, not to the same extreme, not at all. The colors, any color you want him to wear it. But have a balance. But if you constantly have him to associate what he is wearing to what he sees others are wearing in what circumstances, then he may start identifying association with it. Same thing with color. You're constantly wearing pink, then he would think pink is the only color that he should. And then if he sees some girl or some other people who are wearing pink interacting in a certain way, then he might think, well, he has certain kind of a maybe commonality or association, or will it create one? So that's why I'm saying balancing. Pastel, pink, pistachio, blue, all of it. So he would be himself rather than getting clues. That's why I don't believe children should be exposed to things that their brain is not capable of distinguishing. Like they're not supposed to be these sexual lifestyles does not need to be discussed with them at such early ages until they grow up and learn, and they will become who they have been born as. They will understand who they are by themselves. It doesn't need to be promoted to them. So leave them alone. And the same thing with clothing or everything else. Just be balanced. They will get aware of what is the reality of this world and what is in it, what colors, what different styles, what different lifestyles, what activities, what this and that, so forth. But they are born at a certain gender that they are, and they will know who they are as, you know, in the first couple of years or 2-3 years of their lives. So no need to elaborate on these things, and they will pick it up as their nature is. And they know what they are in the first 2-3 years of their life, because that's when, you know, they already know who they are, if they're not in the first year. Not first year, second, third years. Usually till age 8 or you know, or 9, you know, they have questions. They don't know what is what. So no need to feed them extra information. They'll pick it up. All right. Yeah, Keller says, brain has no brain. Masanti says, what is on here telling you all about? Well, Masanti, take a look at the title and you'll have all the information you need. You're welcome here, but remember the protocol. We need to know your gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. Twiggy says, hello, Marin. Hello, Twiggy. How are you, dear? And she says, how to manage anger and anxiety. That's a long discussion. If you allow me, we will discuss it maybe another time because it's been 2 hours and 47 minutes and I've been talking nonstop. I'm looking forward to that sandwich that is in my fridge and waiting for me, or perhaps some other stuff that I've got. And so, so I'm not into heavy discussion right now. And T had a question that it's disappeared right now. I missed that question. That's okay, next time. And Chester says, male 27, Hawaii. Aloha, Marin. Aloha, Chester. Mahalo. Good of you to join us. Says, hope you're doing good. Glad I made it to your live stream. Yeah, I just got to your name right here. I don't know how long you've been here. I hope you heard the most of it. All right. Remember, guys, don't forget to like the program. And Swati says, thanks, Mehran. I like the milk at different temperature example, which you gave. Cheers. Cheers, dear. Guys, don't forget, this is not just a party here to come and have the sandwiches and go. you take a mandate with you. You came here, you liked it, you enjoyed the channel and the program, you got your answers, your questions answered. Now, you share the videos you like in your social media, you talk about it on chat lines and promote that bloody channel. Otherwise, we'll just be disappeared because in the sea of the YouTube channels, we are not visible. So I need your help, which means promote the channel, talk about it, refer it to here and there, and find the videos that you like and put it on your social media. And don't be shy. Otherwise, we disappear because somehow we don't get much help from YouTube to be kind of out there and have exposure. So I'm counting on you guys. So you come here, before you go, remember, pick up that 2-minute intro that I have. I put it here. That's for live programs that we have. It's only 1 minute and 47 seconds. You can put this up on your social media and use it to introduce our channel. That is a very good introduction. And there is also another one that you can choose, which is called I've Got Your Back. And I hope that you guys will also use that to promote this channel so people will know what it is. This is 4 minutes and 9 seconds, maybe a little bit longer than you might want, but it's 4 minutes. Share it. It just tells you about the channel, tells people about the channel. So you can share that on your social media. The other one is just telling you about the live streams. So give me a moment to, just 1 minute to close that window if somebody's smoking. I hate smoking. My goodness, I've been sitting for almost 3 hours now. Okay. And Gaurav says, one thing that bothers me is when I think that my ex is able to replace me in... Replace you? What are you, a tire? Are you a car tire? Replace you? Who the hell is she to replace you? Or who the hell is whoever to replace somebody else? It's just no longer compatible. You move on. There's so many pebbles in the oceans and in the shorelines and in the world. You don't have to think that that's the only pebble. And if I'm not in it, then that means life has no meaning anymore. Come on now. Do you have a helmet? Your motorcycle helmet? Put it on. I've got the ugly stick. I got to use it on someone today. Don't talk nonsense. And it says, replace me in 1 month. And how long do you want it to take? If you replace you in a year, it's good. That's ego. Look, the solution is just don't give a shit. Don't give a shit about what she's doing. Give a shit about what you're doing. Go and get busy with your building your own life. Don't keep watching whoever is doing what. Says, replace me in 1 month, and she still messages me to tell me about she misses me. Don't answer her. I mean, why do you have to do that? Just enjoy your life. Well, don't answer her. She is making one mistake by contacting you and saying these things, but you're the other half of the mistake. They respond to it. Just simply says, listen, dear, I don't understand you. You miss me, then you know what to do. You don't keep calling me and say, what are you doing? You're trying not to burn your bridges just in case that didn't work. You want to come back to me? I'm not a yo-yo. And this is not a church to open to everyone, to come in and go out, come in and go out. And it's not a restaurant, revolving door. Goodbye. Take some, have some balls. Take some decisions. Most of you guys, when the girl leaves you, you're constantly saying, oh, please come back. It's okay, come back. No, you have standards. You guys didn't work it out? Whether you were this way or that way, or she was this way or that way, it didn't work out. She left you or you left her. Then the other person shouldn't be begging, oh, please come back. You called me, oh, thank you for calling me. What? Have some balls. Say, okay, goodbye. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. I wish you well. And do wish her well. But then wish yourself well as well. Go on. Build your life. Life is short. You want to hang around for other people's decision to make you feel good? Go on. Have some balls and make your life. Build your life. Make your case. Accomplish things. Learn things. Design things. Fulfill things. Build life. Don't wait around for somebody else to come and give you some attention. Oh, my life is built now. Really? What? Just pleasure. What does she do for you? Go do all the things you necessarily got to do. And when the opportunity comes and you're ready for the next girlfriend, and you live your life. And says, okay. Anna says, thank you so much for your advice. You're quite welcome, Anna. Anna says, you're right. I should have more respect for me. Yes, you should. You have the cue. My goodness, so much still in here. Okay, I guess if I go on with a bunch of questions from one person, then I will. So from now on, we'll do one question for one person, then we move on to the next person, so we can at least address that for everybody. And T says, what to do when I'm ruminating over my HOCD intrusive thoughts? It's as if I feel like I have to test myself against. Yeah, I have a video on that. So I've been ruminating. So to go find it, to put the word ruminating in the channel thing, I think that will take care of what you're looking for. I think that was a question that Ash asked once before, and I cut that into one separate video. Yeah, I think it's only a 2-minute video. I don't know how deep I got into it, but there's so many videos about this topic that I have put out. in different playlists. So if you go to my playlist called Intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos, and again, don't be fooled, it's not short, they're longer, but there are shorter ones in there too. You will have lots of videos about brain, thoughts, and you. And it explains to you and separates your brain from you and makes you see it. And then you will gain the knowledge that you're looking for in that tangent, whatever, in that. And then there's another playlist I have, Intrusive, Transient, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts. They have more detailed oriented interpretation of thoughts that show up and so on and so forth. But the first playlist is the most important one. And the second playlist, there are like 30 of the videos that are numbered. I want you to watch number one, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. You'll have all the information that you need. And below all those videos, I have the links to the psychologists, psychotherapists, scientists that have discussed and proven all these things that I talk in different ways about it. Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Owens. These are all scientists that through their work, they show neuroscience of habits, what HOCD is, what OCD is, and all the subsets, and they are very helpful to help you understand your brain a little bit better. And of course, my videos are all there based on my own research and also the work of the masters of 100 years ago and so on. And so the delivery is a little different. Aman says, I have a weird question. How to be someone whom every girl adore, how someone becomes like that? Nobody is like that. There is no one person that every girl adores. What do you think girls are? They have a consciousness, just like you do. They have characters, expectations, manners, morals, standards, and to some of them, this person meets their qualifications, and to some of them, this person does not. So it's not like one magical way. There's no specific look, there's no specific amount of intelligence. Yeah, maybe if someone is very, very, very wealthy, maybe that could kind of jog them a little bit towards you. But other than that, I don't think you can count on that there is certain kind of a being to be in a certain way that all girls would adore you. No, some girls would, some girls won't, and that's for everybody. So, okay. Now, Steve says, just got home, didn't think you'd still be alive. Well, I am. I won't be if I don't get that sandwich. Getting hungry. It's 3 hours now. Damn it, guys. All right. Whoever hasn't clicked on like, click on like. And Chester says, Mehran, how do you distinguish between intrusive thoughts and your own thoughts? It's very simple. Intrusive thoughts are the thoughts that you don't like. You don't have to have a problem with that. If you watch the videos that I put up here, the links, you will actually be able to recognize where are you in the whole scheme of your being, and where's the brain, where's the thought, where's you. And that could help you. And at the same time, you recognize where you are, who you are. And then you recognize what brain is doing, what thought is brains. Usually, I mean always, when you are going into your consciousness and purposely picking up a topic, an information, a fragment, a knowledge, segments of what is recorded in there, specifically picking up that inventory, that ingredient, and then use it to figure out something, calculate something, describe something, produce something, design something, explain something, ponder on something specific, accomplish something, learn something. That is your thinking. That's your thoughts. Purposely, you are initiating that for a certain reason to use the results of it to better advancement and accomplishing whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. That's your thought. Everything else is the brain's thought. And everything else is intrusive. But then, from all those everything else, most of it are intrusive, but you have the choice to select and judge those thoughts. As long as you're judging a thought, the judge is you. The thought is thought. Unless you initiated the whole process of thinking for your own specific purposes. In a nutshell, that's the answer I could give you. It says, does intrusive thoughts only cause symptoms of anxiety such as heart racing, growing response, sick stomach feeling? No, intrusive thoughts could be all kinds of things that you don't even have any reaction to it. It's just a bad thought. So, in other words, just don't give a shit. And I want to introduce to you someone very special that his comment just came up, and his comment is held for review. But because it's such a very special comment, I want to, before I delete it, I want everybody to see it and know the person. It's Karim Hamir. I'm just going to release that right now. It says, it's a very thoughtful comment. It says, this hub is full of shit. So this person, Karim Hamir, who thinks this hub is full of shit, my question is, what are you doing in pile of shit then? What are you doing here? So why don't you take a break and go enjoy yourself, play outside, and don't be where we are, as we are in a pile of shit, and you shouldn't be here. So goodbye, dear. There we go. And Chester says, a lot of people with HOCD usually experience a backdoor spike when these thoughts doesn't cause us to be anxious. It makes us believe that these thoughts are true. I want your input on these matters. So if you don't believe the thought, then it won't bother you. The fact that you are bothered because you believe it's true. And that's the part that you got to distinguish. That look, intrusive thoughts can only be true if I accept them to be true, and if I allow them to become an action. I don't allow them to become an action. That means they're never me. And I won't buy into it that it's me, because it's not. Why? Because when I was put together in my mother's womb, there was no thought involved in creation of my gender, my genitalia, my inclination. There was no ability of thinking. I was in my mother's womb. It was all done through my genetics. Thoughts were not involved. And now that I have a capability of thinking, which came to me a couple of years after I was born, it developed. Thinking was never involved when I was being created as I am created, the gender that I'm created, and thinking can never have anything to do whatsoever in threatening my gender or how I have been created, or to change me or modify me in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not going to believe whatever the thought suggests. I am me. I'm not thoughts. And thought cannot change or suggest any shit. I'm independent from brain. My gender is independent from my thoughts. From thoughts, and not all thoughts are mine or brain. All right. Steven says, even though I stay busy and focus on myself, I still can't help but feel lonely. Yeah, it's okay. Find something to do. That's why it's hard for. No, you don't feel lonely, you know? You think the only thing that stops you from being lonely is her. That's the problem. When you think that way, you'll be kind of immobile. You become paralyzed to do anything else that you would enjoy. Because your thought is always there, focused on something. Because you think that's the only thing that could be. Because you think of her as a solution. She's not a solution, she's a relationship. So as long as you don't give yourself a chance to focus on other things that could be of interest to you, then you think she's the only one, the only thing that is interesting in your life, and that can bring you, tranquility and contentment and happiness and all that. Because you're not allowing yourself to see anything else. And it's like not buying any other video and any other movie and think that's the only video, the only movie that has ever been made. The same video, same movie, constantly looking at it. So you brainwash yourself, and then you just condition yourself that that's the only thing that exists, the only thing I like, because that's all what you do. You know, it's like the same food you eat every day, and you think that's the only food that's in existence. Only type of food available could be made. And Ash says, Mehran, what are the top 5 things you recommend for anyone suffering from HOCD right now? For example, 1, get out of your fucking basement and get fresh air. 2, grow a pair of balls, etc. Well, in fact, it's interesting you ask. I have started writing on something. I started like about a week ago, but I've been lazy to complete it. So far I already have 25 things that you should consider when you have HOCD. But I came up with a lot more other stuff. So I have to now organize it, put it together to make a video out of it. And I don't know when I'll do that, but that's in the works. Twiggy sends a couple of roses and a thank you. My pleasure. Quite welcome. Padmantan says, hi Mehran. Hello Padmantan. This is watching you live. Show past 2 hours. Your fridge is calling you. I know. You must be hungry already. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Much love. And thank you very much to you as well, Padmantan. And Aman says, have you heard of Smart Notebook? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. I don't know what it is. Ash says, Chester, okay. All right, they're talking to each other. Hungry Mehran. Yes, Crystal. I'm hungry. And the last question. Haha, almost. I can smell the food. Ash says, Steve. No, you're talking to Steve. Oh, great. I'm off the hook. All right, guys. We've answered all the questions. It's 3 hours, 10 minutes, 49, 50, 51 seconds, and on counting. I'm losing the rhythm of my speaking. Okay, it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. Don't forget to share the videos you like on your social media. Please share the 2 links that I sent you for promoting the channel and promoting the live streams. They're 2 separate links. One is 1 minute and 47 seconds. The other one is 4 minutes and 9 seconds or something like that. It talks about what the channel is all about, and the other one talks about what the live talk is all about. And so please do make an effort to introduce us and give us exposure. And Chester, they're not hungry intrusive thoughts. It's sandwich. I can't ignore the sandwich. And Rodriguez, thank you very much. You're quite welcome. So, I love you all. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. Don't forget to promote the channel. I look forward to talk to you again next Saturday, or maybe I feel like I just want to have a live stream and I come on the channel, the YouTube, and you'll probably have clicked on the subscribe and clicked on the bell to be notified if I go live or any new videos are uploaded. And so, in the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Sandesh, here I come.